Hello and welcome to Mysterious Realities. We would love to hear what you think about today's case and any suggestions of cases you wish to see us cover in future episodes. We would also really appreciate it if you could like the episode, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. It really makes a huge difference. This week, we bring you the best scary reported incidents of the Slender Man. Whilst the Slender Man was a creation from an online forum back in 2009, many stories have appeared regarding interaction with the character. Many claiming to be true accounts of events that prove that the Slender Man is real and is very active. Today we will dive into 5 stories linked to the Slender Man, and as a bonus we will cover a real-life crime, where the Slender Man, or the legend of Slender Man, were used in the defense of the accused. Who was Slender Man? The Slender Man first appeared in an internet forum Something Awful in June 2009. The thread itself was a Photoshop contest, where people were invited to take part in a challenge to create paranormal images. One entry to the competition was submitted by Victor Search. However, it was later revealed that his real name was Eric Knudsen. Knudsen submitted 2 black and white images, depicting groups of children featuring a tall, thin, faceless figure wearing a black suit. Knudsen provided some narrative to go with his images, which described the figure abducting the children and gave his creation the name the Slender Man. The Slender Man's mythology has evolved since 2009, and his appearance and activity changing depending upon who is writing the story. However, Slender Man is most described as very tall and thin with unnaturally long, tentacle-like arms, which can be extended to scare and capture his prey. His face is usually white and featureless, but his face can appear differently to those who see him. He always appears to be wearing a dark suit and tie with a white shirt. Slender Man is often reported within forests or at abandoned locations and reputably has the ability to teleport, whilst those unfortunate enough to be near him will feel sick, suffer a rapid onset of paranoia, nightmares and delusions often accompanied by nosebleeds. Evening Hunt. Dark Seeker took to Reddit to report their experience of the Slender Man. They stated that they were on the way to the shops to get some snacks. It was pitch black and they were already nervous listening for anything and looking into the tree line to spot a tall faceless being. As they passed an empty kids' play park, they got an intense, almost suffocating feeling of fear, like something had its eyes on them. The user thought this was odd because they walked past this park all the time in the pitch black and had always felt fine. This feeling meant only one thing, that he was there. In their mind they could picture him beside the climbing frame looking at them. Dark Seeker whispered to themselves that he was not there, over and over until reaching the high street. They did their shopping and walked back. As they did, they spotted a black and white cat. This is something they would witness when Slender Man is nearby, judging their past events. They walked past the playground and by the trees observed Slender Man, who was staring at them. They ran the other way to the high street, freaking out at all the sounds around. Then everything went dead quiet. People, cars still going gently but oddly slowly past. It was like they had been placed in another plane of existence. The user claims that they had experienced this before. They described it like no one knew they was there, and everyone felt so distant. Feeling like something was pulling them, they went into the woods. They saw him again, then practically tore their way through the trees into the main road before snapping out of the trance-like state and ran home. We always need to be careful when walking home in the dark. It is better to make sure someone is with you, or make sure you have a safe means to get home. My experiences. In 2020, Reddit user Researcher submitted their own Slender Man story. They started with a disclaimer stating they were not insane and that everything they stated was true. Furthermore, they stated that they were direct experiences and promised they were not fabricated in any way. Here is Researcher's story in their own words. To begin, there are the basic experiences that all researchers typically have. Slender sickness, shadowy figures, knocks and scratching on walls, waking up with bruises and other marks, etc. Then things started going up a notch. There was a gash on a wooden door in my room that could only have been created by a knife, things going missing, and I would find them somewhere else entirely that would make no sense. A few more specific instances would be: I was sitting outside at a fire pit with my back to the forest, and I was hit on the back of the head repeatedly with pebbles. When I got tired of it, I stood up saying I was done with it and heard chuckling coming from the woods. It was the middle of the night and I heard random panting/growling in the corner of my room. I never turned and checked due to my fear, but I could feel a presence. All of my family members were in the lower level of our house when there was a random loud crash upstairs. When I went up to investigate, a cabinet had been ripped out of the wall of my parents' bedroom and the door to their balcony was open. In the middle of the night, I had a window open and heard a random noise that was eerily similar to the bell in that Slender Man summoning video from the Slender Man movie. On a separate night I had my window open again and randomly heard someone walking around outside. Feeling ballsy, I shouted, "I can hear you." And the footsteps quickly ceased. The night after the above experience, I was home alone and was in the kitchen. Suddenly, there were 2 knocks on a window and one of my dogs ran to the window and stared out the window intensely. I quickly got up, grabbed a knife, and went outside to investigate. I found nothing but a clear package type thing used to wrap something that would be shipped to you. I have a picture of a very demonic looking dog in the woods. I'll be posting that later and leave the link to this post so that people will know that it originated from me. Around a week ago, I was smelling buttered popcorn everywhere that I went. In the car with the window open, inside of buildings, inside of my house, even on my dirty clothing that had not been worn that day. That's a basic list of my experiences, believe it if you want, or don't. I don't care, I'm just getting this out there and hopefully gaining some people's attention. I'll likely post some dreams that I've had involving Slender Man and a current dilemma that I am going through. Again, don't take the time to post hate comments. I don't care, they're just annoying and I have a tendency to refuse to let others have the last word. If someone starts with promising everything they say is true, we generally find the truth to be the opposite. What do you think? I've seen him 2 times. And I'm not dead? Reddit user Cute Creep from the Kananaskis area outside of Calgary, Alberta, Canada posted their interaction with Slender Man in 2019. Cute Creep stated they attended a summer camp, and they were in the outdoors tribe. This meant that they would do everything outside while the rest of the kids slept in cabins. One night, a group of them decided to sleep outside the tarps they had, around the fire pit. Cute Creep couldn't sleep because of the enormous amounts of mosquitoes, and they were also suffered from insomnia. As they lay inside their sleeping bag, and it was about 12 a.m. they poked their head out the sleeping bag and looked around and saw the other 2 kids sleeping. Turning over to look at the night sky they saw Slender Man, he was standing over them. They very quickly got up and ran to the tarp with the rest of the girls. This was when Cute Creep was 12 and they reported seeing Slender Man again just 2 years later. It was at the same camp, and they went out with a small group to camp outside of the main camp. They reported having a great night singing campfire songs until the group separated into their own tarps, boys, girls and counselors. After around 2 hours, the girls were still talking. Cute Creep, feeling overly scared, started to scan the area and saw the Slender Man in the trees. He blended in perfectly. They pointed him out to their friend, and she saw him too. Not wanting to scare the other girls and not wanting people to think they were crazy, they decided not to say anything and just hide within their sleeping bags. Did Cute Creep and their friend really see the Slender Man, or was it just their mind playing tricks on them given the location and isolation of where they were camping? Kid terrified of Slender Man, please help. Weebles3 reported on an online forum back in 2013, that their 10-year-old son had heard about Slender Man from some school friends and that he had been terrified of him ever since. He had his first nightmare about him in early 2013 and it took a while for him to feel safe going to sleep in his own room again. He sleeps with several lights on, a large fish tank, a regular lamp, and illuminous stars on his ceiling. After a few months, their son had another bad nightmare and screamed for his mum and dad in the middle of the night. Weebles 3 reports that he then got into bed with his parents, and they all went back to sleep. In the morning, he was still upset. That night, they had just finished dinner and Weebles 3 was washing the dishes. The sun was going down and it was getting dark outside. Their son starts having an anxiety attack and is scared in his own living room. When they went up to bed, they tried to get one of their dogs to sleep in bed with son, but she didn't want to. Weebles 3 ended up sleeping in the guest room with her son whilst her husband slept in their room. They slept with the light on. Her son woke up one time, looked very confused and was talking gibberish, but went back to sleep after a short while. No matter how many times she tells her son that Slender Man is not real, he won't believe her. He is terrified. Whilst the Slender Man is a fictional character as part of a creepypasta which are horror-related legends that have been shared around the internet, the development of Slender Man stories is reported to have had an all-too-real effect on the real world. One such case is from 2014 and is known as the Waukesha stabbings. On the 31st May, two 12-year-old girls in Waukesha, Wisconsin held down and stabbed a 12-year-old classmate a total of 19 times. When questioned by authorities, they are claimed to have said that they wished to commit a murder as a first step to becoming proxies for the Slender Man. They also stated that they were afraid that Slender Man would kill their families if they did not commit the murder. Luckily, after the girls fled, the victim, who was still alive, somehow managed to crawl out of the woods to a road. A passing cyclist alerted authorities, and the victim made a full recovery. Both attackers have been diagnosed with mental illnesses. However, both were charged as adults and are each facing up to 65 years in prison. One of the girls reportedly said Slender Man watches her, can read minds, and could teleport. In his statement to the media in June 2014, Eric Knudsen said, "I am deeply saddened by the tragedy in Wisconsin and my heart goes out to the families of those affected by this terrible act." He stated he would not be giving interviews on the matter. Thank you for listening. Have you read other stories about Slender Man? Do you think there is some truth in some of the creepypastas that Eric Knudsen could have based his creation on? Are there any other creepypastas you would like to see us cover in future episodes? Let us know in the comments.